our second series of several. We have another 3 or 4 planned for the rest of the year. So today I would like to welcome my guest Evelyn Münster and Sophie Sparkles, who I will introduce shortly. So Evelyn, thanks that you're here. I got to know you, I believe, also in the pandemic, where I just called you up, asked you if we could chat. And I remember I took a quiz with the Chart Doktor to find out what kind of analyst type I was. So Sophie Sparkles is here today to do a data sketch. She will be, documenting different KPIs that we are producing live, and she'll create a data sketch and share it later. So at 5 minutes before our time runs out, um, I'll ask her to present her data sketch. Elsa, could you mute yourself? I'm sorry, I don't seem to be able to do it myself. Perfect. Thanks a lot. And she'll present her KPIs in a very visually appealing way. I'm so happy to have you, Sophie. I'm so excited that you're part of this, and I can't wait what you come up with. So, Evelyn, let's
Me too.
let's return to that data type quiz that I did and got to know you with. Do you remember which type you were?
Haha, good question. Yeah, I created it, so it's hard to say because I never could do the
Mm.
quiz actually.
Because you
Um,
know all the answers to leading
yeah,
to
but
which person.
I surely started off with the techie because
Mhm.
like you, I also studied art to
Yeah.
begin with, but then I very quickly went into software development and data analytics, and that was my 100% perspective, and I started off. And this is why I was a techie, and I had to learn to go into the other roles and wear other hats. Right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I believe I was a bridge builder. I'm not sure if that's the correct name for it, but
The translator. Yeah.
I've right. I found myself where I want to communicate between techies and business analysts.
Yeah.
So what what caused you to make this quiz, and what's your whole business about?
So I come from B2B data product design. That
Mhm.
means for the longest time in my data career, I was contributing to B2B data products. That means
Mhm.
this is something different than the BI and analytics teams usually do because they are developing or building dashboards mainly for internal use,
Mhm.
and they don't have such a big budget. It doesn't take
Mhm.
them years to build it. You don't have a big team usually. Sometimes there are only just one or two people working on one quick thing, and it only takes them maybe 1 week or something like that. And the other part of the data community is doing apps or data products, not the other part, but one other part.
Mhm.
And this is where I come from. And usually you have a team that consists of data engineers, data scientists, software developers, project manager, and also designers. And they were struggling a lot with finding a common language, a common process.
Mhm.
The designers wanted to add their UX design methods, and the project manager didn't understand this and skip the whole interview part and everything usually. And so I wanted to educate uh, those teams to work together and have a common language. And that was my background to also make people realize that data visualization is not just something that one person in the team should be responsible for, but the whole team should have a basic understanding on how to do this because everyone brings something else that is really valuable to the table. And even if you are considering yourself to be just a techie and you are not interested in all this business stuff, you still have valuable ideas and you should be interested actually in the business stuff, because that was so overcoming challenges. That was I think my biggest mistake that I
Mhm.
made when I started out. So I started out in online marketing. Yeah, that was my first
Mhm.
dashboards that I created, and I thought that online marketing is really boring, by the way. So all these KPIs like impressions and conversions and trying to improve the sales, and I hated
Mhm.
it. And that's why I just was not interested in all the business questions and problems the user had. I
Mhm.
just created whatever the request came, and I just try to make it technically working and good looking, and thought that's it, that's all about data visualization. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's a technical challenge, and
Mhm.
I had to learn the hard way that it's not, because no one was using my dashboards in the end.
Yes.
And I just didn't know why. So back to the quiz, I realized slowly that there are multiple hats, and people coming from different backgrounds also can contribute their own things. So what did we have? I think, do you remember, Julia, what we had? The techie, the translator, the empath,
Mhm.
um, the artist,
Mhm.
and the newbie.
Uh-huh.
The newbie is the one that gets every answer wrong, but that's how I started out, or two, so I can relate. Yeah.
That's funny. And I just
Yeah.
would like to add to our listeners that I will be sure, and I believe Evelyn too, to search for that quiz. Is it still online, Evelyn? Can you still do
Yeah.
it? And
Yeah.
let's post it to our LinkedIn's after the call. So yeah, follow Evelyn or me on LinkedIn, and you can take the quiz yourself. It's very entertaining. I loved it.
Oh,
And
thank you.
I really resonate with that data product perspective. That's something I've been interested in before. Also, I've been realizing that there are jobs that's called data product owner, and I've actually been working with one in my latest project. So
Mhm.
I feel like that's a quite a recent development that people actually look for a data product owner, somebody who has the whole picture in mind. Is that a consciousness that's, like new, Evelyn, or do you think that people are starting to realize that they need to take a holistic view of dashboards and data products?
They are definitely. So I think I was a little bit too early with the
Mm-hmm.
Chart Doktor approach, because no one realized how important that is.
Mm-hmm.
That you have to take this approach of actually not just focusing on the tech part
Mm-hmm.
and the data part, but also on the business part and the human part. But now people realize, probably because they have to realize it doesn't work the way they thought it works. And they tried out a lot of recipes for disaster, um, like showing all the data. And then they realize it doesn't work. Then the next step is usually, oh, we have to ask the users. And then they go and ask, so what do you need? And immediately you go into the solution space. So you start talking with the users and stakeholders about their KPI wishes and their visuals they want to add, everything. And that doesn't work either. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And only after that you realize, oh, something is wrong. How can we create dashboards that are actually used? And this is what made me go into this realm. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
So you
And
already mentioned, yes, please, Evelyn.
yeah, and the product owner, I love that I see this role more and more, also for data analytics, by the way,
Mm-hmm.
what I really like. However, I have encountered uh, big organizations that have huge teams, analyst teams, that rely on the product owner to give
Mm-hmm.
them their requirements.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole team sits there and says, I'm not interested in the business side.
Mm.
I just want to have my requirements, and then I can go from there. And the product owner is the single uh, person
Mhm,
that is the translator
mhm,
and that is interested, who's interested in the business side. And it doesn't work because everyone needs to be interested, because everyone in the team is has to decide about design questions. And with design questions, I'm not just talking about the visual
yeah.
design, like what colors, but also how is the KPI designed, calculated, how's the backend design, how do we store data, in what format. So it really goes back to the very end of how everything started with the data. And you always have to ask yourself, does this actually cater to the needs of the business? Would this answer the questions they have? Yeah. And I came to a lot of projects where I came late to the party. Oh, let's now we have finished like the base,
Yeah.
the data pipeline. Now, Evelyn, please, can you help us design it so does it so that it looks good?
Mm,
And that doesn't work either, because then we start doing user interviews, and usually there is some um, surprises in the user interview. So users want something else, and it's not in the data because they started with the data transformation process much earlier,
mm,
and then that's it. So it's nothing that can be recovered. So lately I talked to a data team lead who said, "Oh, now Evelyn, we finally found the time to hire you and show us how the UX design part works. Now that we built the foundation and
mm.
yeah, everything." And I said, maybe you are a little bit late, because sometimes it turns out the user needed something else. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
completely agree. And this is the point where, the techies create answers out of the data, but they don't create answers to the business question and look if the data is there to answer these questions.
yeah.
Completely agree. Have had the same situation in
Yeah,
projects
you
before.
too. By the way, if anyone can contribute a story, please share in the chat or write
Yes,
questions. I love this Q&A. If you have any challenges that you want to tackle right now, maybe we can give some feedback or input for you. Also, career advice, anything, right, Julia?
of course, Evelyn. Thanks for mentioning that. Yeah, feel free to just throw anything in the chat and we'll be sure to uh, engage with you. So, Evelyn, you've already mentioned the Chart Doctor, but can you explain to our viewer what is the Chart Doctor?
That's our company, basically, the company name of Christoph and me. And it's a data product school
Mhm,
that teaches teams and also individuals how to design with data.
mhm,
And it's especially for data analysts, but also for members of data product teams. So we have two different boot camps.
mhm.
And why data chart doctor? I just like the name. I'm not a doctor myself, by the way, to make that clear. To heal charts or to repair them or to redesign them, um, just like the name, basically. Yeah.
So you are self-employed and you founded your own company.
Right.
So what would be some, yeah, can you, people who are considering doing the same, just give them some advice or a quick overview what it takes to do that and what are maybe the risks and the benefits?
To found your own company.
Exactly.
Ah, big question. Big question. So you shouldn't do this if you hope that you get more free time. That's the short of advice, but it keeps me alive and gives me a lot of energy back. I
Mhm.
really love this to, yeah, for example, decide on the tools that I'm using, right, Julia? Because now you are forced to do what Tableau is telling you to do. Um,
Using this platform, Bevy, that's what we're talking about.
yes,
So Yes.
So I can buy myself a new laptop whenever I feel it's the right time, and I can also decide with what customers I want to work. But I have to say, I'm so glad, I'm so thankful because all my customers, all the years, they were so nice and wonderful and inspiring. You can also probably a little bit easier change a little bit what you're doing and change your career. So right now, if we are right now growing our company, and with this growing, you need to be very clear how your personal life should look like in 5 years. Because if you don't pay attention to that, you will end up doing all the stuff that you hate,
Yeah.
like being in sales calls all the time. Um, and if you and you can, yeah, there's a lots of things we have to do, like marketing, but also creating new products, creating new courses, writing articles, doing corporations. And I need to be really clear of what is the sweet spot I want to work on. And for me, I have decided that I want to be the one who creates new content for the courses mainly, because this is what I love to do. Yeah. So you have to be really thoughtful of what you want to do, have other people
Hmm.
to do, and what you still keep for yourself. Yeah. And also how fast to grow so that you still have some free time for your family and everything. But I'm a freelancer and I have my own company. I think since around 15 years. So this
Hmm.
is exactly how old my son is right now. So you absolutely can do this. Yeah, and I
Hmm.
didn't have much support. Yeah.
So that leads me to another topic. You mentioned your son, and just before we entered the call, we had a little bit of talk about, having a child and having a career. And yeah, I would be interested in what are your thoughts on this, and what's your experience with having a 15-year-old son, especially for maybe the first years that the child is very small and it's not possible to continue life as before.
Yes, absolutely. So I know that you have also a small child, Julia, and Sophie, you have also two of them. Um, I thought it's very easy to just keep working and spend a little bit time with the child, but in retrospect, I would say I should have done this differently. At least the first 3 years, have much more time with my child. I'm a little bit sad, yeah,
Mm.
uh, but it gets better a lot, and now he doesn't need me as much as usually, but we still try to find a lot of time together, not just on the weekends, but also during the week, having a fixed meal times, and also I help him with his homework, and we both enjoy this a lot. And I have to say, I'm really glad that we have still such a good relationship with each other. That's not normal with a 15-year-old boy, yeah, as
Mhm.
I heard. And I think the most important thing is that you not, yeah, try to put your child away with an iPad or a
Mhm.
screen time, but really try to spend as much time, quality time together as a family. And with quality time, I don't mean like time in front of the TV, but time having yeah, playing together, talking with each other,
Mm.
and that's the most valuable thing, I can say also in retrospect. Yeah.
I believe it's quite hard to really reconcile that, wish to have a very fulfilling career and to be present and also to be competing with others, and to have that, you know, and to be just to your child and also your needs as a mom. So I.
Yeah, but often it turns out in retrospect that it was all good. Yeah, so
Yeah.
now
Okay.
you right now
I
you
like
feel
that.
that you don't have to you cannot reduce the time, the working time, because of your career. And if you have the courage to do this, actually, I will tell you in retrospect, it will turn out that everything went well. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
And
Julie said something.
yes,
Such a good
let me
point.
read
I had
it.
the same thing happen in a previous job. The IT group had built what they thought was a perfect structure, but data users like me found the helpful pre-built calculations were all wrong. Exactly. So I like this, Julie. Thank you. Yeah, that's what I also encountered a lot. Yeah,
So it goes to show that it's never, you can never compartmentalize. You can never just do the data or just do the dashboard or just do the business side. And I'm also a big advocate of bringing data literacy to the business users. I think we need to train them a lot to know about data and get familiar with it, because only then they also know how to ask questions that can actually be answered with data. You know,
exactly.
sometimes
Yeah,
they ask questions that are just wild, like how does the weather influence the sale of XY? And while getting weather data is not, that difficult, you can be horribly specific. The weather in
yes.
Germany, the weather in that city and that part of town, what weather?
Mm.
So um, thanks, Evelyn. I like my main message that I take away is like, just lift your eyes from what's in front of you and just look at the whole um, train from beginning to end, from where the data comes from to where the data gets translated into business questions, and try to think about and keep everything in mind no matter where you work on. So now it's
Exactly.
the
Just
time.
last sentence, if I
Yes,
may,
please.
regarding the evolution in the analytics journey of the users or literacy journey. Just yesterday, we had this discussion with within a boot camp, and people actually said that whenever they can work with more proficient users, it gets even harder
Yeah.
because they know so much, they want so much, and
Mhm,
it's even harder to say, "Oh, I can do all this," because they have so high expectations. So the
mhm.
challenges don't end. They just are a little bit different from each stage of the user's journey.
I like
Yeah.
it. The challenges don't end.
No.
So on that note, I would love to see what Sophie has come up with. May I ask you to share your screen and explain about your data sketch?
Of course you can. I will just figure out how to share from
I
my
think an
iPad.
iPad, right?
Yeah. So I'm just going to send this to Google Drive and then share from there if that's so. Just give me a second.
So Sophie contacted me. I believe she started data sketching from the analytics tag. Am I right?
Yeah. This is it's a fun way for me to pay more attention to talks I'm listening to and things I'm doing because I'm having to draw what I see the data wise. So
Hmm.
here we go. I will go ahead and open this up and hopefully be able to share this. Okay, share my screen. I'm just going to share my whole screen. So sorry, you'll get a tiny bit of inception.
Doesn't matter.
There we go. Okay, so I've quickly been drawing. The colors are Julia, you are in the burgundy, and Evelyn, you're in the dark blue, with the green dots are where you mentioned Chart Doktor specifically by word. The yellow dots are sort of the main pieces of advice you gave. So you see some running down the side. That was about being a mother and working. The squiggly
Lots
lines,
of advices.
the squiggly lines are when you're talking about your current work. So you just ended off there saying, yesterday I was working with these clients. That's why it's squiggly. And the underlined bits are where you're specifically talking about past work you did. So at the start, you're talking a lot about your past. So, and I haven't added the arms on yet, but you're not just a ghost body. You've got arms that come there as well. So I'll add those on and share this properly.
That's so cool. Thank you.
Yeah,
I love this. Yeah, I love
no
this.
problem. I'll
That's
share
great.
them over.
Mm.
Well, thank
That's that's so fascinating. I love it, and it's very crafty. So you draw it by hand?
Now you're muted.
Ah,
No,
now
we
you're
cannot
muted.
hear you.
I've got a very high tech piece, so count
Ugh.
the time when things are happening.
Uh,
Ah,
So yeah, I just sum up by because I'm not doing anything too difficult. So just tracing along how long you were talking then and dropping the bits of advice in by time.
it's lovely. I'm completely enthusiastic about this. So yeah, I would love to have the final product to share on social media. I'm sure you'll send it over. And Heidi has a questions for the end. What's the best way to follow your work, Evelyn?
Thanks for asking this, Heidi. So you can either just do the quiz, and in the end, you will be on my mailing list and get all the newest updates, or you just follow me on LinkedIn. And also, you can do my free crash course if you want to, because this sums up very well what Chart Doctor is all about. You can find this also on the Chart Doctor website.
And I think it's
Yeah.
a good way to also refer that to clients or maybe your own team. Um, and yeah, I'm personally a very big fan of Evelyn's. There are several talks of her also on YouTube, and as she said, she's a very prolific poster on LinkedIn. So it's 12:29. I hope you have all enjoyed your lunch. Have a good appetite, and I'd love to see you back again at Data Plus Women, where we bring you interesting women and interesting topics to talk about. Thanks for tuning in, and hope you have a pleasant day. Thanks.
Thanks so much, Julia. Thanks for having me. Have a nice day.